Welcome to a very busy day here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. 8 sessions, 3 practice sessions, 3 qualifiers, and of course racing for USF Juniors and USF 2000. Hello race fans, my name is Rob Howden. Welcome to this fantastic racetrack in Ohio. It is a challenging one for sure, maybe the most challenging circuit on the entire schedule here in 2025. We're about set to go right now with 3 straight qualifying sessions. One of the key points, success here at Mid-Ohio, is qualifying. It's not an easy track to pass on, so where you qualify is often where you finish. If you qualify up front, you're very likely going to find yourself on the podium. 3 sessions coming up, as I said. We'll start with USF Juniors, go to USF 2000, follow it up with USF Pro 2000, right through the order, and then, of course, after that, straight in to racing with USF Juniors and USF 2000. Drivers are set to go on the grid right now. USF Juniors ready to roll out for their qualifying session. It is time to get on the clock here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah. Road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by, like, a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Well, welcome back to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rob Howden. I will be joined in the booth and on the broadcast today and throughout the weekend by the voice of Mid-Ohio, Mr. John Phippen. And indeed, getting ready to get at it for the first time, I guess officially in terms of pace, as qualifying about to begin for all 3 of our series. USF Juniors, USF 2000, and USF Pro 2000 will have their 30-minute sessions with a 20 minutes of green flag running back to back to back. Full day yesterday of testing, number of hours on track. And again, each one of these drivers turning a ton of laps yesterday to get a feel. They've been here before. Juniors ran here back in June. We've done a bunch of testing here. These drivers know this racetrack. It's time to get to work. Qualifying set to go right now as the drivers have worked their way out onto the racetrack. We welcome those of you who are around the racetrack as part of this fantastic weekend. Blue skies, beautiful day, 79 degrees, the ambient temperature here rolling in to the late part of the morning. Of course, a ton of USF Pro Championships action here. 3 practice sessions already complete. We'll roll through 3 qualifying sessions as well, and we have the first races for USF Juniors and USF 2000 on the docket here this afternoon. Ty Fisher and Leonardo Scorpioni from Zanello Racing, the top 2 drivers in the official practice session earlier today, a 124.767 would be the track record. So we may see that record from Joao Vergara, who turned it back in June. May see that broken here today, 124.864. Drivers just coming across the line to get essentially their first lap into the books here. We're underway with qualifying. John Phippen, great to have you here with us. As always, love being here at Mid-Ohio. You've called, I don't know, do you have the number of how many races you've called here?
No idea.
It's got to be up there.
This is my 40th year.
My goodness.
So, yeah, quite a few.
Wow.
Quite
so you know this racetrack. You know the ins and outs. You know where the passes are going to come. You know the challenges that each one of these drivers have taken. Let's start off right now, and let's talk about turn number 4. What they've done to the racetrack since last year is probably a good opportunity for us to set that stage now.
Yeah, exactly. The main reason for the reconfiguration there at turn 4 was to flatten out China Beach. Basically, China Beach, there used to be a drop-off, basically, that if a car got off, and especially at high speed, the car would get airborne and then hit the gravel and dig in. Simon Pagenaud's accident here a couple years ago in the IndyCar weekend, a perfect example of that. And so the decision was made, we're going to raise the level of China Beach so that it's pretty much a straight shot off the racetrack. Should a car go into the gravel, it'll be at a, it won't have that airborne boost to it, if you will. So all of the gravel was taken out of China Beach. They used concrete blocks to fill up that area to level it off, and then put the gravel back on top of it. But they also wanted to while they were at that work, they wanted to reconfigure turn 4 a bit because there were some drainage issues there at that portion of the racetrack. So they took a little tiny bit of the banking out of turn 4, went from 4 degrees to 2, basically. And they also leveled out the exit of turn 4 so that there's not a dip there, which collected standing water previously. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can't see underground, big, 24-inch drainage tiles,
yep.
and catch basins there to catch any water. Fortunately, we don't have any rain in the forecast for this weekend. Touch wood.
Yep.
But that was the main reason for the change. Brand new catch fencing all along that area of the racetrack. So it's been reprofiled, but it hasn't changed the layout of the track. It's still very much the same as it's always been.
And I don't think it's changed the raceability either. We talked about the fact that we were here back in June with IMSA, and it was the USF Juniors by themselves, a standalone weekend. They didn't have all the other programs of the USF Pro Championships, and the racing was actually stellar. We had one race in the dry, one in the wet. The race in the dry won by Joao Vergara was green to checker, no yellows whatsoever, and I'm telling you, there was wheel-to-wheel, side-by-side racing from front to back. We were calling racing back in 15th and the battles for 17th and 18th, and those junior drivers showed that even with that reconfiguration, you could run side by side. A little bit of respect for each other. We saw just incredible racing out of the youngest drivers in our program. Coming into the weekend, let's talk a little bit as well as we just start to get some lap times in here now with Leonardo Scorpione on top. Scorpione on top. That's Zanella Racing driver. Is the point leader coming into the weekend. He has 7 markers on Oliver Weldon. For Scorpione, only one finish off the podium this year, and that was a mechanical failure at NOLA Motorsports Park. And the back end of that triple header, he finished 20th. Otherwise, he has been on the podium, 3 wins all told. It has been a tremendous run. He hasn't finished second this year. He's got 3 wins, and the rest 4 third-place finishes, but he does have that point lead. On the flip side, Oliver Weldon has almost all top 10 finishes. Of course, he has 7 finishes on the podium, second and third. He does not yet have a victory yet. He has been very quick here, though, was quick in testing. So could this be the weekend where Oliver Weldon gets that first big victory? In the championship fight, it would be good for him to start the momentum, John, for the second half run. 8 races still remaining. One will take place this afternoon.
Yeah, and he's only 7 points behind Leonardo Scorpione. So, I mean, that battle is a dead heat for all practical purposes.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, a long way to go. Then not even that far back is Ty Fisher, who currently sits second place in points. The rookie for Zanella Racing, Ty Fisher, is only less than 20 points behind his teammate. He's only 19 points back, so he's very close as well. Right behind him, Joao Vergara. I would say you put Liam Loiacono and Vito Attala still in the championship fight as well. Attala's about 57 points back in there in 6th position, but again, all it takes is for him to go on a hot streak, get that roll going. Still with 8 races to go, 2 here at Mid-Ohio, 3 at Road America, 3 at Portland. There's a lot of racing still left to be done before we can even lean into who we think are the primary championship contenders. Definitely top 6 are the drivers who will watch here.
We talked about it in practice. Oliver Weldon due for that first win of the season, as he's been on the podium virtually every other race. And he's quickest right now in the early going on 125.6314.
Those of you joining on the live stream, whether on the YouTube channel or on the USF Pro Championships app, we will have one constant stream here through all of qualifying. And then we'll stop that stream and start a fresh one for the races as we start with USF Juniors. So there will be a bit of a gap between. We'll play some of our video segments for you during those segments, but I will give you kind of the time we're coming back with the next group. So straight through 3 runs of qualifying, USF Juniors, USF 2000, and USF Pro 2000, as we have essentially probably 6.5, 7 hours worth of USF Pro Championships on-track action before we see the drivers at Indy Next and IndyCar take to the racetrack. A lot of bustling around the paddock, though. We're on the racetrack, but behind us in the paddock, it is a hotbed of action. As we know, IndyCar teams loaded in yesterday. They're going to work, all the stuff they have to get done. They've got things set up yesterday down on pit lane. This, John, is going to be a tremendous weekend. The lineup of campers trying to get in here yesterday afternoon. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic 4th of July weekend, and we'll say a shout out to those of you on the stream as well. Happy 4th of July, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed, and happy Canada Day to you.
I appreciate that as well. Weldon, Scorpioni, Fisher, the Canadian. Canada Day for him as well was on Tuesday. Fisher in third spot, Joao Vergara in fourth, and Rodrigo Gonzalez is really starting to step up midway through the season here as well. But we are very early in this run. Remember this, 2 races for USF Juniors, only 1 qualifying session. So just 1 lap is not enough. You need 2 really good laps. Your fastest lap will set the grid for race 1. Your second fastest lap provisionally sets the grid for race 2. If you're able to go faster in race 1 than your provisional lap 2, or second lap rather, you could use that for the second race qualifying. So, hey, I just mentioned Rodrigo Gonzalez. He goes from 6th up into P1, but not for long. Again, the tires just starting to come up into temperature. It's a 30-minute window of qualifying, but if we go green to checker, it's 20 minutes of on-track action. We'll just stop it at 20 minutes. So Ty Fisher now on top with a 125.083. We talked about the fact of potentially going for a track record. We're less than 2/10 away from a track record right now. Joao Vergara set that track record, reset it rather, at the IMSA event back here in June with a 124.864. So we are less than 2/10 off the track record. I got to think that when these tires start coming into temp and we start losing some fuel weight, you're going to see somebody put their name in the record books here. For now, we'll see what happens when we get back here in 2026 and beyond. But right now, Zanella 1-2 with Fisher and Scorpioni. Rodrigo Gonzalez sits in third. Oliver Weldon and Joao Vergara, the 2 VRD drivers, in fourth and fifth. Hudson Potter for Inter MS up into sixth spot. Brendan Cooley for Exclusive Autosport in seventh. VRD's Matan Achatov in eighth. Diego Guillat from Zanella in ninth. And the single driver for Pole Position Motorsports, Connor Aspley, out of Missouri, rounding out the current top 10. Again, drivers just settling in here. 1 driver coming in for the first time. British F4 driver Chase Fernandez out of Manchester, England, running for J. Howard Driver Development. Great to have him over here with us now, currently in the 14th spot. And John, I kind of detailed the fact that we had a couple of official test days here already. A number of teams have already tested at Mid-Ohio privately in the offseason as well. We already had a juniors weekend, so if Chase Fernandez could be any further behind the 8 ball right now coming in, he's never been to Mid-Ohio before, he's never driven a juniors car before. He did a bit of testing, I think he's going to get a test day. The bottom line is this kid, whatever he does, is going to be impressive, knowing this is a track that does take a while to learn its ins and outs.
Yeah, it doesn't give up its secrets easily. It's a track that you can get the layout pretty quickly, but all the nuances, where the racing line is, a couple turns, the carousel and the keyhole both require a lot of patience. It's a track that rewards rhythm, especially in the backside of the racetrack, starting at turn 4, where the steering wheel isn't straight, at all. Basically, you're constantly turning, setting up for the next turn. It's all about rhythm as they work their way down through Thunder Valley, through the carousel, and back onto the front straightaway. 24,
Michael Succo into pit lane right now for Inter MS, currently sitting in the 14th spot, a 126.141, his fast lap so far into pit lane. Fisher still on top of the 125.086. Lap 5 was his best. We'll see whether or not anybody challenges still with that track record. So 1 driver into pit lane here, around 8.5 minutes remaining, coming down to 8.5 minutes. Vergara, Cooley, Weldon have gone faster. Vergara up into 3rd, Brendan Cooley into 4th spot. Oliver Weldon in 5th. Diego Guillat turns his fast lap. He'll go to 7th. Connor Aspley still into 9th position. Liam Loiacono, surprising to see him back now in the 12th spot. Loiacono, who is so impressive. Now, where is he here? Lost him off live time and wait for him to pop back in here again. But indeed, Loiacono, who won in the wet, a fantastic drive to beat Oliver Weldon in really tough conditions here at Mid-Ohio. Not an easy track to drive when it's wet, that is for sure. And he ended up coming away with his first victory. Loiacono moves up into 10th spot now, 125.843, so he's about 0.8 of a second behind Fisher. Fisher currently P1 for both races. He has the fastest outright lap and the fastest second lap as well. Weldon improves to a 125.279. Now, we talked about someone potentially laying down a track record lap, but no one's gone any quicker here. Rodrigo Gonzalez back up into 5th spot. Cooley drops to 6th. Guillat into 7th. Loiacono up to 10th. Kaylee Countryman up to 14th spot. 126.044. About a second right now off of Ty Fisher. So yeah, second looks like essentially the top 14. Right now it's Fisher, Scorpioni, Weldon, Vergara, and Gonzalez top 5. Cooley, Giat, Nordquist, Aspley, and Loiacono. Great shot here of them coming down into the keyhole. Such a fantastic corner. Downhill, off camber, and it just happens to be where you have to lay the power on to get the run down to turn number 4, right?
It's the most important turn on the racetrack because it leads onto the longest straightaway.
And you're off camber, and the car just wants to slip away from you.
Exactly.
And the exit is always tough as well because you can drop a wheel on the exit, get into the kind of the gully almost of a ditch out there that's been dug up over the years, and find yourself in trouble. It's just such a tough corner to get through.
It is absolutely right. And I talk about patience. It's one of those corners where you're so fixated on getting the throttle down just as quickly as possible, and you just got to wait. You got to wait, and then get the power down so that you get that great exit speed, and that makes sense. We've got a car through the newly profiled China Beach, but no harm done.
It's like one of the D-Force cars, potentially one of the Gonzalez brothers. I will say this, John, as well. I did a track walk on Wednesday, and people talk a lot about Barber being the Alabama roller coaster with the elevation changes. You walk this racetrack and you realize this place has elevation. I don't know how many stories it is, but the walk from turn 1 up to the top of the keel, it is a huge trek to get to the top of the hill and then back down all the way again. Of course, you can get all the way into the shallows of Thunder Valley, but there is so much elevation change. Up to 5, then falling over the cliff back down over to turn number 6. This place has some incredible undulations.
The highest point on the racetrack is the entrance to the keyhole. The lowest part is down in Thunder Valley. 130 feet is the total difference.
So there you go. Wow. Yeah, 12 stories, whatever you say.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Again, I had thought probably 5 or 6 stories from one up to the top of the keel because you're literally climbing the hill. And again, that's going to shorten the braking zone of that corner as well because you got the uphill forces that slow you down as well.
They talk about how the camera doesn't do it justice.
No, it does not.
The corkscrew at Laguna Seca is a perfect example. Until you've seen it in person, you have no idea how steep that is.
So true.
And in this track, until you walk it, you don't have any idea of just how much vertical there is. So.
And the same thing goes coming through turn 7 and 8, and then through 9. 9, as you crest the hill, the car's super light. You can't see the exit point, and then the track just falls away from you down into Thunder Valley. One of my favorite corners is turn 9, just because the car's so light. It's already kind of rotating on its own, and then you drop down into Thunder Valley.
I've had more than one driver tell me that turn 9 is the last place you learn to go fast at this track.
That's 100% true. That is facts right there. I will say one thing I'm surprised about. With only 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go, we have not seen anybody get down into the high 24s. Fast lap so far, 1:25.083. With Fisher laying that lap time down when he did, I thought for certain that we were going to see somebody break Joao Vergara's track record of a 1:24.864. Currently still stands just under over 0.2 of a second off, or under 0.2 of a second off for Ty Fisher. Zanella Racing still 1-2, and as they run right now, though, it's a front row lockout for both races. Provisionally for race 2, they can go faster, as we said, in the race itself. But it's Fisher and Scorpio on top, Vergara and Weldon in 3rd and 4th, Gonzalez and Achita 5th and 6th, Cooley and Giat 7th and 8th, Aspley and Loiacono 9th and 10th. Nordquist sits 11th, Potter 12th, Attila 13th. That's tough for Velo, all the way back in 13th spot. Chase Fernandez, the driver from the British F4 Series, a winner earlier this year at Donington Park. Fernandez from Manchester, England, P14, so impressive coming out of the gate as he has. Kaylee Countryman 15th, Michael Succo, Patricio Gonzalez, Emma Scarborough, JT Hoskins, and Maddie Colleran. Currently rounding out the 20 drivers in the field. A little surprised by JT Hoskins, John. He was 6th in practice this morning, did a 1:25.5. So far, 1:26.2, 0.7 of a second off what he was able to lay down in practice earlier today.
Yeah, that surprises me to see him that far down. And we talked about it briefly. He had that scary accident up at Road America, and came back from it, and he was right on the pace here. Like I say, 6th quickest in practice this morning. So let's see if he's got some more pace in that car. Maybe the Jay Howard crew can help him out a little bit as we're down to about 3 minutes remaining.
Yeah. And again, remember, folks, the timing line here is not on the front straightaway, which we'll use for start-finish. It's actually as they climb out of Thunder Valley just before turn 10, the right-hander leads up over the hill, turn 11. So they're able to, if they cross the line here in front of us at start-finish, as the checker flag comes, they get that entire full lap back around to the alternate timing line before diving into pit lane. 1:25.083. So Fisher and the Scorpione separated by just 1/100th of a second, a 1:25.083 to a 1:25.093, and then they have less than a tenth of a second on Oliver Weldon, who runs in the third spot now. Fisher on top still. Do we see some late session heroics? 2 minutes remaining. No one going green on the screen at all for live timing. We'll watch these drivers again roll their way up through into the keyhole. You see a number of drivers there kind of working with each other. In a qualified session like this, unless you're hitting the mark every time, you're just giving laps away. That's the key. And you got to teach these drivers how to get a lap in. You know, if you're going to push hard over the second half of the lap, but you've thrown it away in the keyhole, the lap's already gone. You need to back up,
sure,
and not fight. Like the driver at the tail of the group here, he's already thrown it away on the outside. You might as well back up to make sure the final lap you get is going to be a big draft lap.
Yep.
There are a long list, let's put it this way, of skills that you need to learn for qualifying.
Exactly right.
Liam Loiacono gets a couple spots. Finally, we see a green on the screen there. Liam Loiacono, the driver out of Australia for Jay Howard Driver Development, a winner earlier here at Mid-Ohio, currently rolling in here 5th place in points. Loiacono up to 8th, the 1:25.528. He finds another tenth of a second. That's going to move him to 6th. That's how close it is. You're finding tenths of a second, you're moving up the order. And remember, every couple of spots is another row on the grid, trying to get closer to the front. We do use the start-finish line that you're seeing right here underneath that Honda tower. That is the start-finish line we use. IndyCar and Indy Next use the back straightaway. We use the front straightaway here as well. So turn 1 being the opening corner, then the big run down into the keyhole here being your initial primary passing opportunity, as opposed to stacking everybody up in our series down in turn number 4. So that Zanella driver there did the job. That was the same group we saw. Backed it up and now has a gap to potentially get a run down the back straightaway using the draft. I don't know which driver that was. It might have been Giat. I don't know. Didn't see the number as they came by. But yeah, no one be able to get below the 125 mark. Very surprised considering the early pace, that mark laid down by Ty Fisher. I would have 100% thought they would have found another second, another tenth.
Yeah.
Everybody's still on the racetrack. All 20 drivers on track now.
Checkered flag coming out. The laps in progress will be scored, of course.
Leonardo Scorpioni just rolled by us here at start finish. He's still running. Gonzalez, Vergara, Giat, all still on the racetrack still. Oh, we got some guys lining up potentially for a final lap run. Drivers pulling into pit lane as well. Here's that shot coming out. You see the alternate timeline right in the middle of the screen. That's where they'll hit it. Someone kicking up a bunch of dust coming out of turn number 1. That might have been a Scorpioni. It looks like he's out of the power here. Yeah, that's a Scorpioni there out of the power. I think he may have pushed hard and went off track. 24 Asuko into pit lane. Good shot of the downhill right-hand keyhole there off camber. Wait to get on power.
Number of drivers doing better for their second fastest lap, which will put them a little higher for the Achitov, like you say, up into 6th overall. So he's looking for a top 3 row starting position in both races right now.
Yeah, John, great point. Not only it's not just getting a better fast lap, it's a better second fast lap is going to help you out here. Even if you're not at your outright pace, if you get a better second lap, you've improved yourself up as well. Matan Achitov will be 6th in both races. So we're waiting for the final drivers to come through. Here they are here out of turn number 9, down into Thunder Valley. Alternate timeline, no movement right now. And as it stands, Ty Fisher out of Canada goes P1 provisionally for race 2, but he's got P1 for race 1 only by 100th of a second. Ty Fisher. Are there a couple drivers still on the racetrack? Let me pick these up. I thought we were done.
I saw a couple, coming through turn 6, so they would be heading to the timeline now.
So I wonder if we had guys actually run the checker. Oh, goodness. 3 drivers running the checker. That's they're going to they potentially could lose their fast lap. This could change things up a little bit here. Here comes the 55 in front of me. That is Leonardo Scorpioni. So there are your unofficial results right there. Ty Fisher on top of the 125.083. Leonardo Scorpioni in the number 55, 125.093. So just 100th of a second, first and second. Oliver Weldon in third spot. Joao Vergara in fourth. Rodrigo Gonzalez in fifth. Matan Achitov ends up in sixth spot. Brendan Cooley in seventh. Liam Loiacono eighth. Diego Giat in ninth. And Connor Aspley for pole position. Motorsports rounding out the top 10. Good stuff all around here And the drivers here in USF Juniors, I like the fact they went green to checker. No issues at all in qualifying as well. We still have quite a bit of time. As we said, we're expecting for our qualifying for USF 2000 to go at around 11:25. So we're still about 28 minutes from the start of our USF 2000 qualifying session. Fisher and the Scorpione, Alzanella Racing on the front row for race number 1, provisionally for race number 2 as well. It'll be VRD on row number 2 with Oliver Weldon and Joao Vergara. Again, they're racing this afternoon as well. We should be rolling them out for USF Juniors race 1, likely going green at around 1:05. Row 3 will have Rodrigo Gonzalez alongside Matan Achitov. Row 4, Brendan Cooley and Liam Loiacono. Row 5, Diego Guillat and Connor Aspley. That wraps up our first qualifying session for the PFC Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio. 2 more sessions still to come. As I had said, USF 2000 drivers will be next up. Look for an 11:25 green to start that session as well. For those of you on the stream, don't go anywhere. 11:25 Eastern. We're back with USF 2000.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Over the years, we've chased down a lot of dreams, each one leading to the next, all the way to our most electrifying dream yet. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. Made to inspire the newest generation of dreamers so they can make their dreams a reality. The all-new, all-electric Prologue from Honda.
The USF Pro Championships is really the development level for drivers coming out of karting to move their way to the NTT IndyCar Series. The whole concept is we teach them everything they need to know all the way up the ranks.
USF Pro Championships, it's North American Open Wheel Racing's version of college sports. Got 3 tiers to it, which is pretty important. This whole thing is geared to go upwards and really define who the next stars happen to be.
There's so many drivers that come into the sport and maybe don't have the financial resources to make it all the way to the big time, right? All the way to IndyCar. The scholarship program provides a monetary award that goes to a driver winning the championship that allows them to move up to the next level. So if you win a championship, you win the money you need to go racing in the next level.
A number of drivers in IndyCar today have used the ladder system to gain experience and to gain funding via the scholarships to pay for the next level.
The USF Pro Championship helped me get to this spot in my career because of the many opportunities that it creates.
It was massive for me. The scholarships that are implemented are crucial for drivers. That was my lifeline all the way to IndyCar, and it's a big reason why I made it.
It's very unique, you know. We have the opportunity to win our way to IndyCar basically, and some guys have done that.
The USF Pro Championships really helped me to get where I am today. You get so much racing on IndyCar tracks. You get ovals too, which for a European guy, that's something that's very useful.
This series is a smooth way of adding new developments into my career and new aspects of it. Like it's a smooth way of learning how to grow as a driver.
It has a great reputation. The competition level is amazing. It just gives drivers a great opportunity to advance.
The field here is really intense. I mean,
People are down to the hundreds of thousands of seconds.
It's a great development series, and I think it's somewhere that you should be if you want to be going to IndyCar.
You know, one of the key factors in the USF Pro Championship that we always focus on is the level of safety. You know, back in 2022, we introduced the Halo to the car, which has increased the level of safety dramatically. And again, we're one of the only series that runs that in the junior level. And that's the key for us, is to make sure we take care of our drivers. Number one, on the racetrack. Number two, with the Halo. But number three, of course, with the AMR IndyCar safety team as well. Just like IndyCar has a dedicated crew of people that when there's an incident, they're the ones that arrive on scene the first time. They're with us as well. They know our race cars, they know our drivers. So when they get there, in the event there is an incident, we make sure they're completely taken care of.
So for the safety in our series, we follow IndyCar pretty much on all the safety standards as far as drivers' helmets, harness devices, suit requirements. We follow the IndyCar, and the reason for that, because we want to be the best out there. We want to be the safest. We want a mom and a dad to know their son, their daughter is in the car, and they're absolutely the safest they can be.
They always think of safety first, and now every car has Halo, so you know if there's any flying debris or if you flip, you're gonna, you know 100% that you're gonna be safe. I had a big crash, Freedom 100, 2019 back in Indy Next, and before my car even stopped rolling, I already had an AMR safety guy in the car saying, "Hey, are you okay?"
Well, having started out as a racing dad, I know full well the concerns of a parent to make sure that we protect their kid. And we are very safety conscious in the USF Pro Championships.
When racers come to run with the USF Pro Championships, they're trying to become professional drivers, as we know, and they're trying to get exposure for what they've done, right? Not only do we teach them in terms of the media side, but they're really hoping for exposure through what we do. All of our races, of course, live on the USF Pro Championships YouTube channel. We have a downloadable app as well that fans can watch all of the races, the documentary, the climb that we put out, all the live timing, all on the app. So the exposure is there that they're able to leverage. If they have a sponsor or a prospective partner, an investor who's not here trackside, they're able to watch all the racing throughout the year. It's all about giving these kids as much exposure as possible, and there's not another junior formula program in North America that has the kind of exposure at the level that we have here in the USF Pro Championships.
We're rubbing elbows. We're on the same race weekends as IndyCar. And so it helps for those young drivers to look up and see those guys running at the top level like I am now.
Being in the presence of the organization that is IndyCar, you're obviously not racing in the series, but you're racing with it.
We create our schedule to be as much as possible on IndyCar weekends. The IndyCar series is always looking for young talent. They've moved a lot of our kids into the upper levels, and we need to race in front of them.
The IndyCar team owners do pay attention to what's going on the ladder, and that's important for the drivers. But it's a good way to get and learn exactly what goes into a race weekend.
They really made sure to show the importance of social media and posting, and to get well at talking in front of crowds and talking in front of big places.
It's extremely international now, which hasn't always been the case. You're racing against guys that will be future IndyCar race winners, race champions, and so it's a very unique opportunity.
The reason to come and check out the USF Pro Championships is simply because we teach everything you need to work your way to the top. Again, it's not just about racing, it's about everything that you have to learn to be a race car driver, but also the development we have from car to car, level to level, gives the driver a little bit more every year. It's a really graduated step for up the sport, as opposed to diving into something super fast. This teaches you from a really good place coming out of karting into one of the school series like the Skip Barber Racing School, and then into our USF Juniors program. It's such a planned effort. Everything is set correctly so that on the way up you learn incrementally what you need to get to IndyCar.
On our level, our job is to prepare them mentally, emotionally, media conscious, all that stuff. We have training seminars. We have the race directors who will, especially on the juniors level, will work with the kids and try and explain to them what's going on the racetrack, what they did right, what they did wrong. This is a learning series. They need to learn from their mistakes so that when we deliver them to IndyCar, they're the real deal. They're the finished product.
It's really important as they move up the USF Pro Championships ladder to continue to build on their brand as they get to IndyCar. It's a good way for the drivers to learn what they're going to have to deal with as they get to the big leagues.
It gives them a great training ground from the bottom to the top, how to communicate with your team, how to act, how to be as a person, all the things that are needed to become a professional driver.
You really can work hand in hand with your mechanics to tell them exactly what you need. I've learned a lot in this series of what it takes to be a driver and relay that to the mechanics as far as driving, how the car feels, and I think this series just does a great job with putting the drivers with the right teams and the crew to make that happen.
USF Pro Championships, it does a really good job of educating us on what tracks we're going to be running when we get to the professional leagues. Same thing in Formula One. You run the certain tracks that you're going to race in Formula One, and they do a really good job with that here. There's other series that could lead you on the path to IndyCar, but they don't race on the same tracks as IndyCar does. So USF Pro Championships gives you a little bit of a leg up as a young driver to already know the tracks, so that when you become a rookie in IndyCar, you have a little bit more of an even, playing field with the other pros that you're racing against.
With 3 levels in the USF Pro Championships, we have USF Juniors, USF 2000, USF Pro 2000. One of the key components of the technical side of our sport is the fact that all 3 levels have the same basic chassis in itself. The USF Juniors, USF 2000, very similar race cars with the same engine as well. Larger engine, more horsepower for the drivers in USF Pro 2000. But what we always say is that we want our drivers to get a little bit more of everything as they work their way up the ranks.
We hooked up with Italian race car designer Tatis Race Cars. They are the biggest in the world in junior formula cars, and they've built us an incredible car to our specs. We started with what is a typical Formula 4 chassis, but we strengthened it with a double bulkhead to protect drivers' feet, side intrusion panels. The core of the series is the Tatis race car. The tub is the same on all 3 levels, and a lot of the pieces transfer over from one level to another. So you increase the horsepower on every level, lap times get quicker on every level, but it's all basically the same cockpit and the same controls, same data system, and the drivers can learn as they gradually increase horsepower and go faster.
So the Juniors and the US 2000 are basically the same car, same engine, same gearbox. Where it comes into is the engine is detuned. It has a different restrictor on, which is different horsepower. It has different wheels, different dampers, different uprights, different brakes. From there to the pro level, it's different body work, it's different wings on the car, it's a totally different engine. The first 2 levels, they integrate with each other very good. Going to the next one, the same. Still the same, tub, suspension, uprights are the same on a pro car, and brakes as a 2000. It just gets into being a little bit more. It's got a bigger gearbox on it, bigger wheels, bigger tires, more horsepower.
So every step we have specifically designed to make sure you're ready to go that next year when you move up a level.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Well, welcome back, race fans, to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Rob Howden alongside John Smith with the voice of this fantastic racetrack. The temperature has risen to 82 degrees. Beautiful blue skies. This is just going to be an absolutely perfect weekend of racing. And a great look at the entire ladder system of the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tires, the feeder series and development program that sends drivers to Indy Next and ultimately into the NTT IndyCar Series. A lot of action already throughout the last couple of days. All three of our series, USF Juniors, USF 2000, and USF Pro 2000, were on track yesterday for a pair of 45-minute test sessions. So they have logged the laps around this 2.258-mile racetrack. Now we're into qualifying. Practice already this morning as well. They got another 30 minutes to get a feel for the track as it is today. USF Juniors getting things underway with their qualifying section, and like USF 2000 and Pro 2000, a 30-minute window with 20 minutes of green flag running. Ty Fisher and Leonardo Scorpioni from Zanella Racing, the top drivers, as they lock out the opening front row for race one of two here for USF Juniors. Triple header for the drivers here at USF 2000. They'll race once today, once tomorrow, and once on Sunday morning. John had a quick look as they kind of rolled out here. All the tuggers, all the trailers, all have another set of Continental tires, fresh out of Continentals. 3 races on the weekend, so they'll get one more set, so 4 sets of tires for essentially 4 sections. I expect, even with the 20-minute run here, we're going to see 2 separate qualifying runs. They'll be in halfway through to change tires.
Yeah. With that extra set of tires, it gives them that option to, as the track begins to rubber in and gets faster and faster as these sessions wear on, it gives them a chance to, bolt on a fresh set of Continentals and see if they can go for that quick time.
And potentially make a minor change to the car, whatever it may be, if a driver's giving you some feedback. But knowing one of the biggest things that happens during a qualifying run like this, if we go green to checker being 20 minutes, you're burning off fuel. The car's just going to get lighter and lighter and lighter as the session goes on. If you can come in and put fresh tires on with 10 minutes to go, you're going to ask for a lot more. Anthony Martella, the Canadian, was the fastest driver in the second test session yesterday on Thursday. He was the fastest driver this morning as well for J. Howard Driver Development. Martella, the winner on the oval at the Freedom 75 at IRP back on Memorial Day weekend, the Carb Night Classic. Martella quickest this morning, as I had said before, 121.201. 2/10 clear on Caleb Gaffera. And we don't put a ton of weight on practice, although if you're up front there, you're likely going to be up front in qualifying. They did use the carryover tires that they had from testing yesterday. We'll see whether or not Martella has it again here. 17 drivers in total in the field here this weekend in this USF 2000 category. 8 races remain in the championship. It's Ohio driver Thomas Schrag as the point leader for VRD Racing in the number 2. Jack Jefferson, the 92 for Exclusive Autosport in second, and the 25 of Teddy Masella for VRD Racing in third. One driver to mention here as we get things rolling here, only starting to get the session underway. We do have a new driver. One driver making his debut in each of the 3 series here this weekend. Vaughn Mishko, who is a regular in the Mazda MX-5 Cup program, running with D-Force Racing. Did a little bit of testing, knows this track well, and actually was pretty solid in terms of overall pace in that first section. Sure, he was down in 16th position, but only 1.2 seconds back in a very talented field. Mishko, more of a sports car racer, so we'll see what he does here where he's on the clock for qualifying. All told, as I said, 1 new driver in each series. 17 drivers will be on the grid here for USF 2000.
Jack Jeffers setting the early pace, but it's still very early days, just 1 flying lap basically, a 22.5. Now for Teddy Musella as he takes over the top spot. Lap record pace set here back in 2021 by Michael D'Orlando, a 120.1864. That's going to be a tall order, I think.
Yeah, I don't know that that's going to happen here today. Interesting thing to look at. Again, we talk about the fact we have two races coming today. The first of two for juniors. The green flag for that race set to go to 105. USF 2000, this grid, of course, will set it up for this one here. That's a 205 green flag, a 20-lap distance for the drivers in juniors and 2000. 30-lap race for USF Pro 2000. Jack Jeffers now goes to the top of the exclusive Autosport machine. His teammate Lucas Facuri, who has really started a mid-season run of impressive performance and impressive speed. They are currently first and second, but again, very early on. I don't expect to see the final pace from the qualifying to come until we put the fresh tires on and likely go into the afternoon. We'll see if anybody decides to maybe hold off and go 3 sets of new tires. If you turn a good lap, maybe you want fresh tires for all 3 races. I don't know. I would expect to see most drivers pit. Jeffers, Facuri, Masella, Cooley, and Gaffera. Caleb Gaffera in the Pabst Racing 24, Cooley in the exclusive Autosport number 90. Early running here in this one. 5 minutes down into the next 3 quarters of the session. I'm thinking if you're going to make a stop, you're probably going to go 7 minutes, maybe 8 minutes into the session, because you're going to need some time in the middle of that session. This is a track that, not like Road America, is so long that if you wait too long, you only get 1 lap. You're able to come in, make the changes, still get a significant amount of laps, get these Continentals up into temperature where you need them to be. So I would say that maybe a couple more laps before we see anybody come into pit lane. We'll see whether or not we have any takers, anybody on that strategy of using 2 fresh sets of Continentals for this qualifying run. The beauty of it, John, is if you do, let's say you come in here and that first set of tires you run, you've put 3, 4, maybe 5 laps on, probably not even 5 laps on those. They're just got that heat cycle. They're going to be fantastic for one of the races.
Sure,
right?
Yeah, exactly right.
They'll come up to temperature quick and be good to go in the opening laps.
All part of the tire strategy that these teams get to play with on these triple header weekends.
Teddy Masella now on top with a 121.987. So nowhere near the 120.1 track record set by Michael D'Orlando back in 2021.
Best time in practice this morning by Martella, a 121.203. So that's the kind of pace that we're looking for. We're about 7/10 off of that right at the moment. Thomas Schrage now makes his first appearance in the top 2. Second quick with a 22.2374.
John, interesting thing about the reconfiguration down in turn number 4. That could be a big player into whether we ever see a track record again here. The junior track record, of course, was set in June. Obviously, it's already been done. Thinking about back in 2021, you mentioned the fact that they've lost a couple of degrees of banking coming into 4. I would hazard a guess, if you look at the data traces, there's no way you're carrying as much speed potentially through that corner, being able to use that banking of 4 heading back over to turn number 5. That could be just enough to be worth 2, 3, 4/10 of a second.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, that's bound to have changed things a little bit. We'll see when the big boys get out here if we've got, lap record pace coming from the Indy Next and the NTT IndyCar Series drivers. That might belay that, but again, we haven't seen a significant change basically throughout the season. We've set a lot of lap records so far this year, so I don't know that it's had that big of an effect, but it might.
First driver into pit lane, Ayrton Hauk for Benchmark Autosport, currently in the 11th spot, coming in to put on some fresh tires. They'll go to work on that machine. Look down to see if they are putting fresh tire. Yep, they definitely are. They're going to go to work on getting those lugs off each one. The quick release, get them back to work. Does take a bit of time. This is not an IndyCar stop. There's not, 6 drivers or seven people over the wall getting to work here. It is the front and it's the rears. We'll see whether or not they put fresh rubber on for Ayrton Hauk. He's dropping down to 13th now. Yeah, number of drivers in. Let's give you the runs they come through as we watch them here through turns number 8 and 9. Schrage in, Masella in, all the VRD drivers in, as Christian Cameron there as well. So VRD have brought all 3 of their drivers into pit lane, as you can see right there coming in. Hauk a little bit further back. They currently sit in 2nd, 3rd, and 11th. Masella 2nd, Schrage 3rd, and Christian Cameron 11th. Drivers working their way up to the keyhole here. Also in the pit lane, Jack Jeffers at the number 92. Jeffers currently sitting P1, a 121.537. His second best lap, 121.794. So Jeffers currently P1 for both of the races. Still 11 minutes remaining in the session, though. Remember, the cars are going to get lighter and lighter, and they're just going to bolt on brand new tires again. Fresh rubber is going to mean grip. To be able to hold on through the corners. The more grip you have, the more corner speed you can carry, and the car's just going to be lighter as well as they burn this fuel off. So expect a fast lap to come late. 1:21.537. So we need 1.4 seconds off the track record. I don't expect to see that at all. We're not going to sniff at that record. Right now it's Jeffers, Gaffera, Masella, Schrag, and Fakuri. Cooley runs 6th. Argyros in 7th. Garzone 8th. Make that Eddie Beswick up to 8th for Synergy Motorsport. Garzone in 9th, and Joshua Leonel puts the D-Force drivers there in now 8th and 10th as Leonel moves his way up into 8th.
Lots of green on the scoring screen, though, as we're about halfway through this session, and still fast laps being turned.
Final VRD driver in, that's the number 99, Ryan Janetta. He was 15th in the practice session, but only 0.7 of a second back. That's the best we've seen out of Ryan, a young driver who ran the Skip Barber Formula Race Series last year. Started the season off initially looking at USF Juniors, but after the spring training event, elected to move up into the USF 2000 category. Caleb Gaffera just turned the second best lap, or the first fastest second best lap, 1:21.701. So he improved. So he currently sits P1 for race 2. It's still Jeffers, Gaffera, Masella, Schrag, and Fakuri. But again, we expect that to change. We're past the halfway point. Who's the next driver we could potentially see coming in? Or are we going to see some drivers stay out for this entire session? Remember, as the car gets lighter, these tires aren't going to fall off like crazy over it if it's a 20-minute straight run. Some drivers may elect to say, listen, I'm just going to keep going. Hopefully I got enough grip when the car gets as light as possible. And then I'm going to be able to have fresh tires. Remember, 4 sets. If you run this one set for the entire session, you're putting brand new tires on for all 3 races. Sella back out. So we've seen the VRD, all 4 VRD drivers come in. Jeffers has come in, as has Ayrton Hauk. A couple more coming in here as well. What team do we got? That is going to be the number 30, the single car effort for Synergy Motorsports. Eddie Beswick comes into pit lane. They have really started to improve. Here comes the 11 as well of Joshua Leonel. He's top 10. The 91 coming in as well. That's Lucas Fakuri. He's currently 5th. So then if we've seen 2 of the drivers from Exclusive, I would expect that we're going to see Evan Cooley in as well, and likely all the D-Force cars. Here come the Pabst Racing Machine. Here's the first one. That's Gaffera, and right behind him is teammate G3 Argyros. So the drivers sit 2nd and 7th now in. So what I'm seeing right now is essentially everybody in the top 10 so far, other than Evan Cooley and Sebastian Garzone, the only 2 drivers in the top 10 who have not yet pit. That's kind of interesting to me. When you've got drivers like Exclusive does, are they going to try to long run Cooley here? Are they going to have him with fresh tires in all 3 races? Currently sitting in the 6th spot. Again, I have not been part of any debriefs. In fact, I haven't left this booth since we got here, John. So I have not been in an engineering room in one of the trailers since we rolled here. So I'm not privy to any of the the ideology of their strategy here for this session. I would not be surprised to see a driver stay out for the entire run. We've seen Vian Bosov out there for the entire run. He's 16th now, so he'll need more pace, but maybe they want the fresh tires in all 3 races, right?
Yeah.
We also haven't seen any of the Jay Howard cars come in. Currently, Anthony Martella in 11th position. That's surprising. He was the fastest driver in the session yesterday afternoon and the fastest driver here in morning practice. Did a 1:21.2. He's a 1:22.3.
Yeah, he's a second.
Over a second off the pace that he set earlier today. Goodness, that is tough for Martella. Again, Anthony Martella coming in here this weekend, currently sitting in 8th place in points, coming off of 13th and the 6th at Road America, the victory at Lucas Oil, trying to get himself up potentially into the top 5 in points, but tough to start that far back at a track like this one here at Mid-Ohio. Now, Jeffers still on top, but here we go. The tire temp's going to start coming in. 6 minutes and 20 seconds remain. And again, I'll reiterate like I did for the juniors session, we don't use the start-finish line here for qualifying. We use the alternate timing line, which is just as they come down out of Turn 9 into Thunder Valley, right there in the middle of it. So if they come across the line here when the session does go checkered, they get to finish another, 1.7 miles kind of a thing to get back around to get into Thunder Valley. That's the key thing here. You got to get back here. Once you're through, you get one more lap. So there's still a long way to go. Minute and 20-second laps. We've got probably at least 4 laps to go.
Teddy Massell and Thomas Schrage setting personal bests,
that's
third
key.
and fourth respectively.
That's key, John. They're just starting to come in the right way, right? Teddy Massell, Thomas Schrage in third and fourth, and back by not much. Masella maybe a little over a tenth, not even two tenths for Schrage. They're moving. Remember, they came in before Jeffers, so Jeffers is going to be that one lap back in terms of finding that absolute optimum window for qualifying. Yeah, Jeffers just rolled across the line. Timmy Carell behind him. There's that run out of the keyhole. Big run down. Turn number 3, not much of a turn, but it is. It's a kink that does play a role. It's not so much a turn, but a kink, and it definitely plays a role into where drivers set up and how you're going to kind of get into the side of a driver, because they will come across and kind of clip that apex a little bit.
Yeah, especially in traffic. That's a key part of that. Dogleg is a key part of the racetrack.
Down through turn number 7, 8, and 9. There's where they drop into Thunder Valley. You see the alternate timeline there mid-corner. You see the line across the track. That's the end of the qualifying lap. 4.5 minutes to go. Masella continuing the move forward. 1:21.556. Not only does he go P2, John, but he also does the fastest second lap. 1:21.694. So he holds the provisional pole for race number 2 now. Teddy Masella, the most recent winner, scoring the victory at Road America. I love qualifying.
Yeah.
There's just an excitement to it the entire time. It's not this wheel-to-wheel action. It's literally seeing who's on the roll, who's starting to move forward. Are you finding more pace every lap? So this is the lap that's coming. Masella went green the last 2 laps. Schrage did not do that, but Masella is pacing nicely. Watch for Jeffers to get his fastest lap here pretty soon as well. The gap between first and second, less than 2 hundredths of a second right now. A 1:21.537 for Jeffers, 1:21.556 for Masella. Cameron up into 6th, Hauk up into 8th, Janetta up into 13th. A lot of movement here in the last couple of minutes. Pit lane is clear. Everybody on the racetrack, whatever you got right now. Again, I don't think we saw Evan Cooley in. 7th and 8th are his 2 sections right now, but he would have fresh tires for all 3 races. Anthony Martella finally finding some speed. He'll go up into 8th, but still 8 tenths off what he did earlier today, just an hour and a bit ago, hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
Martella, the Jay Howard driver development machine, having to lay one down. Now remember, I don't think we've seen him in here either. He's going to have fresh rubber, and as we keep saying, fuel load burning away. Light cars, more grip, could be the final lap. Cooley across the line, does not go quicker on that last one. He's currently 7th and 8th. Martella 8th and 12th. Yeah, Martella needs another lap still. Eddie Beswick across the line. He's currently 12th. There's Ayrton Hauk in the 58 machine for Benchmark Autosport out of McCordsville, Indiana. See that line coming through 8 and 9. Hauk currently in the 9th spot, dropping down in to Thunder Valley. Number 58 machine qualified on the pole at the Freedom 75 at IRP, but just missed the setup in the race. Dropped backwards, but again, as a single car effort, second-year driver in this program, they have really started to turn things up here now. Ayrton Hauk, 10th place in points, and not outside a fight for 7th, 8th, and 9th either. His father, Kevin Hauk, starting the Benchmark Autosport team in the offseason. They have a Kenyan midget team that they run as well. They ran last year with DC Autosport Don Connor. He stayed on as the engineer for the team, but it's fully run by Kevin Hauk. Hoping to expand to 2 cars in 2026. Thomas Schrage, folks, has gone to the top. Thomas Schrage, 1:21.428. Gaffera goes to 2nd. Jeffers into 3rd. Jeffers improved his 2nd fastest lap, and he's 3rd and 4th right now. Schrage goes to the top, 1:21.4285. Jeffers in 3rd, so it's Schrage, Gaffera, Jeffers, Masella, Facuri. Garzone improves up to 6th. Martella up to 7th. Argyros 8th. Cameron and Cooley round out the top 10. A minute remaining. Everybody coming across the line here right now is very likely going to get one more lap. So these final drivers here, one more circuit. Schrag needs another one. He's got P1 in race 1, but provisionally P4. Gafara's got the second best fast lap, so he's now P1 provisionally for race 2. But we're not done. Like I said, still more qualifying to come after this, folks, too. We got another qualifying session to go right now, USF Pro 2000 at 12:15. So another half an hour from now. Everybody digging. If you're coming out of Thunder Valley now, you're going to get one more. 30 seconds to go. Those drivers that just came through were done. Who's in the pit lane? Teddy Masella. Fourth and second right now for Masella are his laps. Thomas Schrag has both now. Does another one. 1:21.328. Schrag goes P1. Will these lap times hold? Everybody coming out of Thunder Valley is going to get one more. A 1:21.328 and a 1:21.428. The 2 fast laps. Schrag goes P1 for race 1 right now, provisionally, and he's got race 2 as well. Jeffers goes to second, though. 1:21.418. Jack Jeffers up to second in both sessions. Gafara, third and third. Masella, fourth and fourth. But we're not done. And Lucas Facuri, fifth and fifth. Get ready. Final laps for everyone. Schrag, Jeffers, Gafara. Masella's already in the pit lane. Do we get anything on the final lap? As the drivers work their way around the track here. There's Gafara. Coming down through 7. The blind crest of 7 to 8, back to 9. The 2 Pabst Racing cars. I think that's Hauk across the line. He's 9th. A lot of drivers going green here on the final circuit. Martella, Argyros, Cameron, Hauk. The remainder of the field coming through. Hauk's back to pit lane. Does Jeffers have anything for Schrag? Thomas Schrag out of Bethel, Ohio. Looking to have a couple of poles here on the home track.
Talked about this might be his weekend. He's starting it out right.
Hey, listen, a couple of poles, you'll take it.
You betcha.
Especially with the 2 bonus points. Remember, he comes in with a 27-point lead over Jack Jeffers in the championship. Jeffers doesn't get it done on the last lap. Can't quite pull the trigger. Schrag, I think, is going to hold on to it. Final couple of drivers, you'll see. We got the shot there. If there's anybody else on the racetrack, we're going to see them come through turn number 9 right now. Majority of the drivers coming into the pit here, I think we're probably done. So that's going to put Thomas Schrag, the point leader, with at least 1 bonus point right now. P1 with a 1:21.220. Jack Jeffers comes up just short by about 0.2 of a second. Good enough for P2. It'll be on the outside of the front row. Caleb Gafara and young Christian Cameron. Cameron 4th, Gafara 3rd. Teddy Masella came in a little bit early. Ends up P5. Lucas Facuri in 6th. G3 Argyros will start alongside Sebastian Garzone on row 4. Anthony Martella not able to match the pace, about 0.6 off of what he did earlier this morning in practice. He's 9th alongside Joshua Leonel from D-Force Racing. 11th, Ayrton Hauk alongside Ryan Janetta. That's Ryan, I think, probably his best qualifying effort of the year, up into 12th. Good job for Ryan. Eddie Beswick and Evan Cooley, 13th and 14th. Cooley's going to be 14th and 12th. That did not go the way that Evan wanted. He did not find the speed in that early session. Not able to go quicker on the final lap either. Timmy Carell and Vian Boshoff will be on road number 8, and Von Mishko making his debut here in USF 2000, a 1:22.63. Really only 1.4 seconds off. So I'm going to say that's a win. He was able to get a bunch of laps in, 16 laps. And again, we'll get a chance to go racing for the first time this afternoon. But listen, we talked earlier, John, about the fact that Thomas Schrag, I guarantee you, when the schedule came out, he circled Mid-Ohio.
Yeah.
This is my racetrack. My sponsors are going to be here with me at the track. All the people that make it happen for me. He's never done a full season before. Now he's got a full season with VRD Racing, leading the points coming into the weekend. On the pole right now with a great run of 1:21.220. Second lap, 1:21.328, enough to go P1 as well. Jeffers will be on right now provisionally on the outside of the front row as well. Christian Cameron's last lap, that was the big one. 4th, John, for race number 1, 8th for race number 2. He needed one more lap to potentially get further up. But a good qualifying session, back-to-back green to checker runs. That puts the onus on USF Pro 2000 to do it as well. We don't want any yellows, man. All green to checker.
Exactly. And they're coming up in just about 25 minutes.
Exactly that. For those of you joining on the broadcast, stay with us. We'll be back again at 12:15 Eastern Time for USF Pro 2000 qualifying. We have 3 more sessions still to go here today. Back to back to back. USF Pro 2000 qualifying, the first race for USF Juniors and the first race for USF 2000. Again, we'll be back, folks, as we said, qualifying for USF Pro 2000 at 12:15.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
And to handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Over the years, we've chased down a lot of dreams, each one leading to the next, all the way to our most electrifying dream yet. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. Made to inspire the newest generation of dreamers so they can make their dreams reality. The all-new, all-electric Prologue from Honda.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
2 qualifying sessions already complete, 1 still to come, and that is USF Pro 2000. Drivers rolling off pit lane to get things underway right now. Great field of 18 racers, part of this top level of the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire. Hello, race fans. Welcome back to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. My name is Rob Howden, joined by the voice of the facility, Mr. John Phippen. And we will get set to give you the lineup here as they get rolling. Max Garcia has been the top driver here for 2 of the 3 sessions so far on the weekend. 2 45-minute tests yesterday. Garcia was P1 in the opening run. Max Taylor, the most recent winner at Road America, was quickest in the second 45-minute test. This morning when they rolled back on track, Garcia did it again. Led a Pabst Racing 1-2 with himself and teammate Jacob Douglas, P1 and P2. And we'll see what happens as we roll into a 30-minute window of qualifying, all part of the PFC Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio. 20 minutes of green flag running if we go green to checker, as we did with both Juniors and USF 2000. And as we know, Max Garcia rolls in here with a sizable point lead, trying to see if he can't come away with his second consecutive USF Pro Championships scholarship title win, winning last year in USF 2000 and leading the way here right now. The interesting stat, John, I brought it up to you in the morning practice session here this morning. Last year, Max Garcia completed every lap on the season, did not miss 1 lap, no DNFs whatsoever. He's run that through the start of the season here as well. Amazing when you look at his results. Of the 12 races so far this year, he has not finished outside the top 4. He has 7 podiums and now 4 wins. This kid's on fire. His worst finishes is 4th. 2 at Indianapolis, 1 in the Oval at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and 1 at Road America. This kid, the consistency on fire here in 2025.
Yeah, and he's got a big points lead to take him into these 2 rounds here. He's got a doubleheader at Toronto, doubleheader at Portland to round out the season. But, you know, like we talked about this in an earlier qualifying session. No lead is safe in this championship. All it takes is 1 bad weekend, and he is right, Matt Clark is right there knocking on the door.
100%. 72 points is the advantage right now for Max Garcia over Matt Clark, but only 73 points over Ariel Elkin. 1 point separating the drivers in second and third. And it's not like Matt Clark hasn't been the equal of Garcia in terms of consistency. There was the 1 weekend, NOLA Motorsports Park, Matt Clark finished 3rd in the opening run of the triple header, but then was out and did not finish the 2nd or 3rd races. From there, he's essentially been the same place. He's been top 5 in all the other races as well. He too, he actually has 8 podiums on the year so far out of the 12 races. Number of second place finishes, but is waiting for that first win, right?
Yeah.
We talked about Oliver Weldon in USF Juniors.
Same way,
trying to get that first victory, sitting second in points. Exactly the same thing here right now with Matt Clark. He would love to break that goose egg and grab that race win.
Yeah, he's been the bridesmaid so many times. It's great to see that he's got in with a shout for the championship here.
It's tough for those drivers that are used to winning.
Yes.
Winning in karting, winning a couple of championships in Ontario Formula Ford racing. He won the USF Juniors championships. He's won races with you guys in the F4 and FRA program. He's won races. It did not win at all last year.
Right.
That was tough, right? Any driver wants to get that victory, and Matt Clark, who's been so consistent since joining Exclusive Autosport, excited to see if he can't get that win here this weekend.
And he's atop the order, at least in the early going here. Max Garcia right behind him, Carson Heder in 3rd, but still early days.
Yeah, Matt Clark in the Corpay Cross Border Solutions Clubine Motorsports machine. Looking forward to his home race. We talked about the fact that Thomas Schrag from Ohio here. This is his home racetrack, the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, on the pole provisionally for both races now. Lockdown race number 1 for USF 2000, provisionally for race number 2. Same goes for Matt Clark when we head to Toronto. So you think about maybe success here, maybe a win or 2, more podiums leading into the momentum into your home weekend in Toronto. This is a good opportunity for Matt Clark, maybe to fire up who could be a championship charge, at least putting some pressure on Max Garcia through to the end.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's what we like to see. And, we also talked a bit about Ariel Elkin, who had a tough break at St. Pete, but
Horrible.
has been great ever since.
Yeah, indeed.
He's another driver who's been top step of the podium, 3 times now, as well as 2 other podium finishes. So he's right there, and he's 1 point behind Matt Clark.
And how he's there after what happened. He had a big wreck in the opening race at St. Petersburg. The car was so badly damaged they weren't able to repair it for race number 2. So indeed, 0 points essentially coming out of St. Petersburg. But he has clawed his way back up into 3rd place in the points right now. Those two wins in Indianapolis mid-May, and then he won the Freedom 90 on the oval at Indianapolis Raceway Park, a race that is points and a half. So not 30 points for the win, 45 points for the win. A huge victory for Elkin there, which really put him back to where he needed to be. But Elkin, again, over the last 5 races, all top 10s. Actually, if you go, I can't even say that because everything's a top 10 other than the DNS and the wreck at St. Petersburg. He's just had such a great run. He's shown extremely well for TJ Speed, the driver from Israel. But Max Garcia is the driver in the spotlight. There's no doubt about that. Let's not take too much away from that at this point here. The driver's pulling off. We have an issue here. I think that's one of the D-Force drivers. That could be George Garcia-Arce, a single D-Force driver here. Yeah, so that's George Garcia-Arce. But pulling off the racetrack into a place that we may not go yellow. So trouble for Garcia-Arce, who was actually 18th in the order in the morning practice session, some kind of a mechanical, as he pulls off coming down the straightaway between 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, there's a track cut out there that they can pull off, and he was on the downhill side of the keyhole turn, and apparently lost power or something, did not go right, and so he did the wise thing and pulled off the racetrack so we don't go yellow.
Yeah, indeed, that was a quality move there for George Garcia-Arce. Back to Max Garcia. So again, here is, let's set the stage while qualifying is underway. He does have the fastest lap so far. We're about 6.5 minutes into this 20 minutes of green flag running. He's up on top over DeTulio, Clark, Douglas, and Elkin. Garcia with 6 races to go. There are more races, of course, in USF 2000 and USF Juniors still to come. 8 races. So there's more chance for everybody else to score points to close up. There are only 6 races remaining right now here for the drivers in USF Pro 2000. 2 here at Mid-Ohio, 2 at Toronto, and 2 at Portland. So that's only 6 opportunities for Clark, Elkin, and DeTulio, and even Max Taylor to potentially claw back some points. If you look at Matt Clark getting maximum points, 198 points between now and the end of the season, the most points he could accumulate would be 444. So the magic number is now 445 for Max Garcia. He'll kind of claw his way to 445. It's not going to happen here this weekend. There's only 66 points up for grabs this weekend. That would move him to, I believe, 384. But it could happen at Toronto, depending on how things play out here and how he goes. Now, granted, when you have that in mind as a championship driver, maybe if I get 10 points here and 20 points, I'm just going to close my way up there. But again, you never want to leave the door open for someone to storm through to 6 wins. And Max Garcia is not that kind of guy. Anybody at the front and pointy end of a championship battle, John, I'm sure you've heard this before. When you ask them if they're thinking about the championships, they say, I'm just going to win races and let the championship take care of itself.
Exactly right.
When you start thinking too much about where you need to be on the racetrack, I think you find yourself in trouble. Although last year, Max Garcia did a great job. Super strong first half of the season. I'm not going to say he kind of coasted to the end, but he was very smart. Didn't get himself into tough positions, which I think was key. Yeah, let's get into this now because we are 8 and a bit minutes in, and there are a bunch of tires laid out down here on pit lane. DeTulio in, Tyke Durst is in. Tyke was, I believe, 10th in that practice session, so Turn 3 Motorsports bringing their cars in. Here comes Ariel Elkin in the number 27, Max Taylor in the VRD Racing number 88, so a number of drivers coming in there to pit lane. The number 4 coming in as well. Let's get a chance to talk about the Canadian, Nick Gilks. In the number 4, a one-off, not even a one-off, I call it 2-off because he's going to run here and Toronto for Jay Howard Driver Development. Nick's got some really good top-level experience in 2022, raced in the GB3 Series, also ran in the, I believe, Euro Cup 3 or Euro 3 Cup Series. So he's got a lot of experience running overseas. First time we've had him here in the USF Pro Championships. He's excited to be here. He was 12th of the 18 drivers in the practice this morning, so we'll see what Nick has here when we go qualifying. Currently sitting in the 14th position. That's essentially the first run on tires. He's in as well, so again, we're going to see exactly what we saw with USF 2000 drivers coming in is they have 3 sets of tires for 2 races. So they'll use 2 sets of tires here in qualifying. One race is going to have fresh tires, one's going to have used tires. Garcia on top, Douglas in second, Clark third, Costello fourth, and Ariel Elkin fifth. That's the run after the first stint on tires. Pabst Racing with all 3 of their drivers in the top 4. Garcia, Douglas, and then Costello. Clark up into third, Elkin into the 5th spot. Taylor 6th, Joey Brienza up into 7th. Good stuff early on for Joey Brienza. DeTulio sits 8th, Cooper Becklin in 9th, and Frankie Mossman rounding out your top 10. Carson Eder having a good run here as well. They replaced the engine in that number 92 Priority Workforce machine overnight. The team was here till I think 1:30 in the morning getting that thing wrapped and ready to go. And Eder, who was 15th in practice, currently sits in the 11th spot. Bunch of drivers coming in. Clark is back out. They've made changes to the Clark machine. You see the drivers who have come into pit lane. They're going to use that long run from 2 through 3 down to 4 to try to build some heat into these tires. Again, fuel, load, lowering. Carson Eder back out onto the racetrack as well. Again, as we said before, these aren't not IndyCar pit stops. There's not 6 people over the wall. It's a concentrated effort with the short staff to do the fronts first, then the rears. Garcia, Douglas, Clark, Costello, and Elkin. How does that change in the final 9 minutes of this session? Right now, Garcia P1 for both sessions, 117.265 his fast lap. We talked about the fact that we're not going to get anywhere close to the qualifying record from David Malukas back in 2018. Different race car, different RPM limit on the engines we had back then, different tires. So that formula, very quick, but not unbelievably reliable, let's put it that way.
Right.
There were some kinks in that program. We have dialed those in nicely, and again, the reliability we wanted of a spec series is what we've been able to aspire to and reach. So drivers all kind of slow, working around the racetrack now. Remember, when you do go out, John, and put new tires on, the last thing you want to do is impede anybody at speed as well. You have to be very careful that those still on the racetrack, you don't slow them up, because you could get a penalty and lose your fast lap.
And, these are the most experienced drivers on the ladder, so, you would expect that they would know that and do well. But, sometimes you get a little tunnel vision when you're on that hot lap.
So true.
And not looking in the mirrors. So,
in practice this morning, we talked about it, but now that we're on the broadcast as well, we'll say hello to those of you who are tuned in on the YouTube channel. Hope you're enjoying a Friday so far. We got lots more for you. Still 2 more races, USF Juniors and USF 2000. But I had a look yesterday at the second test session where the entire field of 18 was separated by less than a second. And I went back and looked at it last year, the results from Mid-Ohio, and if you were 9/10 off, you were probably going to be in the top 10 last year. You were 18th this year. The field here is so tight in this USF Pro 2000 category this year. It is unbelievable how tight it is. A couple of tenths of a second, and you're going up 3 or 4 spots. I want to say the top 4 yesterday afternoon in the test session were separated by less than a tenth.
Yeah.
That's how close it is. This is just such a competitive championship where just a minor miscue is going to take you away from potentially jumping up into the top 5 and leave you potentially outside the top 10. You have to be so precise. Drivers working their way through turn 5 and turn 6. Again, we talked about the fact that while you can see the elevation change there, it's nothing when you're standing up on top of turn 5 looking back down. It's absolutely amazing.
Garcia, unfortunately, had to pull off early in the session, so he's most likely going to end up at the back outside of row 9.
Drivers coming through turn 9 down into turn 10. Here's a great shot of the cresting the turn number 11 through turn 12, the right-hand carousel here, one of the obviously most famous corners of the racetrack, leading back onto the front straightaway, which we will use as start-finish. Indy next and IndyCar start on the straightaway from the run down to 4. All right, let's see what we have here now. Drivers starting to get some heat into these Continentals. The tire pressures, of course, set precisely to be able to come up over X amount of laps so that at the very end, ideally on the final circuit of a 20-minute run, your pressures are exactly right, the temperatures are correct on the tires, the driver's done a good enough job to gap them on the racetrack, fuel as low as it could possibly be, and then at that point you put it in the hands of your driver.
Yeah.
hit your marks, please. I remember it was the Indy Lights session where we talked about this. It was actually Ricardo Juncos I interviewed him, and he kind of laid out all 5 of these components that come into qualifying. You're not just out there banging laps out recklessly and trying to hopefully get a good lap. It really is a calculated effort with all those 5 different components. They all have to line up at the right time to be able to get that fast lap at the end of the session.
Exactly right, and that's, you know, the coordination between the team and the driver, getting that car just in that perfect window, looking for that one perfect lap.
All right, we're back at it. Fast laps being laid down now. Green laps for Matt Clark, for Ariel Elkin. Second fastest good laps for DeTulio, Mossman, Monteiro, Durst, Jilks, and Golan, Brady Golan for turn 3. Remember, fast lap of this session sets the grid for race 1. The second fastest lap of this session provisionally for race number 2. If you go quicker in race number 1, you can use that lap to replace your second fastest lap from this session. Max Taylor has used it quickly. He'll go to second. Taylor, who was the fastest in the test session yesterday afternoon, second test session, goes to a 117.740, a half a second off of Garcia. Wow, Max Garcia from that first run absolutely dropped it. I'm almost surprised he didn't just come in and sit on pit lane. That would have been a statement, would it not have been? Hey, this is good enough for me. You guys can go out and burn tires. I got 2 fresh sets for the race from pole. We'll see whether or not Taylor has anything else for him. Matt Clark just turned his fastest lap as well, so he's 4th and 2nd right now. Taylor's 2nd and 5th. You know more lap times are coming. Taylor's going to have there's a 3-second window delta between Taylor's 1st and 2nd fastest lap, so he's got another big one coming. There's still 4 minutes to go. They'll have at least 3, maybe 4 laps still on the racetrack. Garcia, Taylor, Douglas, Clark, DeTulio. Mossman works his way up into the I was going to say 6th, but now it's 5th as Nicholas Monteiro for turn 3 Motorsports goes to P3. Monteiro, 8th place in points right now. His best finish is a couple of 6th place finishes. He's been 6th 4 times for Monteiro, up into 3rd.
And he's just a fraction behind Max Taylor. I mean, he's so close.
Yeah, Clark's still 5th and 2nd. It's still a half a second between Garcia and Taylor. Garcia just trying to pack on these bonus points. One bonus point for qualifying on pole. Add in the $1,500 from Continental Tire as well. Be a big payday in terms of points and money for Max Garcia. Will Taylor find some more speed on another lap? He's currently 2nd and 5th. Monteiro 3rd and 11th. So he needs another one as well. Ariel Elkin goes quicker. He'll go to 2nd. 117.657 for Elkin. He's now within 0.4 of a second. Monteiro goes back to 3rd. DeTulio and Mossman, 7th, 8th. Costello, Brienza, 9th and 10th. Carson Etter goes quicker again. He's 11th. 118.122 for Carson Etter.
Just about 3 minutes left.
Carson Etter's best qualifying of the year so far was a couple of 12th place starts. One at the Oval and one at Road America. So he's looking to get his top qualifying effort of the year. Carson Etter, first-year driver. Started in juniors, went to USF 2000, first year here in the USF Pro 2000 category. Looking to come back in 2026 with the experience he's gained from this year's campaign. Who's the next driver to make the move? Cooper Becklin. He goes to 2nd, turn 3 to 2nd for Cooper Becklin. On the podium at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway earlier this year. Becklin comes in here 9th place in points, coming off a 10th place finish at Road America. But he's as well, he's within 6/10. Max Garcia went faster again, 117.015. Matt Clark goes up to 2nd. Here comes the late session heroics. Clark goes to 2nd by a 10th over Douglas. Becklin was 2nd. He ends up P5 at the end of the lap. This is what we're talking about with the speed here.
6 different teams in the top 6.
Unbelievable. I love seeing that. Pabst exclusive TJ Speed Turn 3 VRD. Garcia, Clark, Douglas, Elkin, DeTulio, now your current top 5. A second covers now the top 12. Make it, top 12. Carson Etter getting bumped back to 12th position. 2nd through 8th, all turning their fastest lap on that last lap. Garcia P1 provisionally for both races. Clark 2-5. Douglas 3rd and 4th. Elkin still has he's the 5th lap in this one, but the 2nd fastest lap for race 2. So many permutations to getting these qualifying sessions down. Max Taylor, who was 2nd for a time, now down in 9th. Just a minute remaining. So if you're coming across the line here, you're going to have some time. Those coming in, 5, 6, 7 are still going to be able to get through here and get one more lap. 45 seconds remaining. Garcia, Clark. Clark by half a second back. Garcia got down to a 16.8. Smoking fast for the USF 2000 champion from last year.
That's faster than he turned in practice this morning.
He's got 4 poles already. John, this could be his 5th and maybe his 6th. Indeed, faster than he was earlier today. Did a 16.9, now a 16.8. DeTulio goes up to second. This is going to be drivers throwing haymakers at each other. Douglas is in. He's P4. Lots more drivers on the racetrack. 10 seconds before the checkered flag flies. Everybody rolling onto the front chute. Still with more to come. Carson Eder calls it a day in the 92. He is 12th. Brienza goes up to 9th. Joey Brienza up into 9th. Who else is in here? Costello is in. Jilk stays on track. He's 17th. He wants to get as much lap time as he possibly can. DeTulio up to second. Cooper Becklin back up to P4. Becklin back to 4th. Checkered flag being thrown. There you see the shot there of out of turn number 9 to the alternate timing line. Garcia, DeTulio, Clark, Becklin, Douglas, your top 5. Big run to the outside there. Clark dropped the wheel on the exit. Does not go quicker. Just dropped the wheel, push it hard coming out of turn 9. Doesn't take much. Oh, DeTulio pips Clark on the last lap.
Elkin goes to second.
And Ariel Elkin to P2. Are you kidding me? 117.277. I think that's pretty much it. Final couple of drivers you'll see coming out of turn number 9. There they are, the last couple drivers through. There's Mossman coming through. He's currently in 10th. Again, those drivers just finishing those laps, last laps. Another one of that's Montiero across the line. Wow. And a couple drivers in the final lap getting their best second fastest lap. Jacob Douglas, 8th, and Montiero, 9th. There you go, folks. Max Garcia on top of the 116.802. Quicker than the practice session this morning by about a 1/10 of a second. Ariel Elkin on his final lap jumps up into second. So put Garcia alongside Elkin on row 1. DeTulio and Clark on row number 2. They just happen to be, of course, the top 4 drivers in the championship. Why not line them up in the first 2 rows for the first of 2 races tomorrow? Cooper Becklin 5th, Jacob Douglas in 6th. Great qualifying effort for Cooper Becklin. 7th and 8th, Max Taylor and Nicholas Montiero. 9th and 10th, Joey Brienza finding speed late. He goes to 9th alongside Frankie Mossman. 11th and 12th, Michael Costello and Carson Eder. Logan Adams and Tyke Durst, 13th and 14th. Brady Golan and Sebastian Manson, 14th and 15th. Nick Chilks. And again, we saw that George Garcia pulling off early, not able to get even a fast lap in. What a tremendous drive there for sure for Max Garcia up top. Did a tremendous job there. Again, 116.802. 0.4 of a second quicker than Ariel Elkin. All 3 of our qualifying sessions going green to checker, the 20-minute runs within that 30-minute window. Actually, that's going to give me a chance to maybe sneak off and grab some lunch because we are coming right back at it, folks. We are not done as of yet. We're right back at it with USF Juniors, the first race coming at you. We'll have driver introductions at 12:55. Indeed, it's going to be, I believe, a 105 green flag. What a great way to start the day. 3 runs worth of practice. Green to checker in all our practice sessions as well. Green to checker in all of our qualifying. 2 more races to go here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course to wrap up a beautiful Friday. 83 degrees here trackside. Finally a couple of clouds, but pretty much nothing but blue skies. We've got ourselves 2 big races for you here this afternoon. That's it for Max Garcia. He's going to be happy with this for sure. Garcia and Elkin on the front row for the first of 2 races tomorrow, all part of the PFC Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio. Again, those of you watching on the stream, we'll be back, as I said. And we've got 2 races for you, back-to-back races in this afternoon. Don't go anywhere. Lots of racing to come for the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Thank you so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Those around the racetrack, enjoy your afternoon. On behalf of Anderson Promotions and Continental Tire, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.
Terrific.